All right, everyone, we're on our last video of the week, and it's all about surface areas of pyramids and cones, okay? So our first fill in the blank is a regular pyramid, has an altitude with an endpoint at the center of its base. And then all lateral faces are congruent isosceles triangles, and all lateral edges have equal lengths. Sometimes you'll also hear people say that the lateral edges are congruent, same idea, okay? So here, this is also in your book. We have the lateral area of a regular pyramid. We have our formula here. The only new variable now is this cursive L. So L is the slant height. What that means, it's basically just going to be the height of those isosceles triangles. It's not the height of the entire prism. I have it drawn here in blue. It's the height of those triangles, the slant height, okay? So, looking down here to our first example, this should be super easy. We have everything we possibly need given to us. That 6 clearly is going from the top to the bottom of our triangle, whereas the height, if you're ever confused between the two, the height is going to be perpendicular with the base. This would be my height, okay? I used a bad color there. But since we see that it's clearly from the top to the bottom of one of our side triangles, that indicates that it is that slant height, okay? So I guess this should say find our lateral area. But for number 1, we're going to have our L is equal to 1/2 times our perimeter of our base. So since we have a square pyramid here, okay, we're going to just do our 4 times our side length, which is 4 for our perimeter. And then I'm going to multiply it by my slant height, which I see is 6, okay? So once I enter all that in, that's easy enough. I get 48 inches squared. And again, make sure you are in fact labeling that with your units. I will let you guys do number 2 on your own and then go ahead and check your answers with the key. And then down here we have our surface area of a regular pyramid. Here we have our our formula, sorry about that. And we're just going to be taking that lateral area now and we're adding the area of our base to it. So nothing new, okay? That basically, you should be able to tell lateral area, we're getting all of our sides and we only have one base with a pyramid, okay? So we'll go ahead and we'll do number 1 together. I'll see if we'll do another one in a second here. But looking at number 1, we can see we have our side length, we have our actual prism's height, and we need to find our our slant height here. So clearly we can see that our height with half of our side length is going to make a right triangle here, that pink one that I just highlighted in blue. So we know that our height is going to go directly down to that center of the base. So it's fair to assume that this length right here is going to be 6, considering we know the entire square's side length is 12. So we're going to go ahead and use Pythag to find our L. So I'm going to do 6 squared plus 16 squared is going to equal that slant height squared. And if we simplify that out, we're going to get the square root of 292. Reason I'm not actually finding a decimal answer for this is because we have to plug that into something else, and I want the most accurate answer possible, okay? So for our surface area now, we're going to take our perimeter of our base. So here we can see our base is a square. We have the side lengths are 12. So I'm going to do 12 times 4. But first, don't forget that half in that formula. Sorry about that. So we have half times 4 times 12 times our slant height, which we just found is 292, plus the area of our base, which is that 12 times 12, or we could write 12 squared if we wanted. Okay, so if we go ahead and simplify that out, we're going to get just about 554.1. And again, I'm just going to round to tenths this time and make sure you have your units, so centimeters squared, since we're dealing with surface area. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and we'll do this next one on our own, or together too, and then you'll do number 3. So for this one, we see that our slant height is given to us and our actual height is given to us. So this time we need to find our side lengths of our base. So we're looking for this little side length here. So again, we're going to go ahead and use Pythag, but this time we have our hypotenuse given to us. So it's going to be 11 squared is equal to 9 squared plus x squared. And if I go ahead and solve for x, again, not getting a decimal answer and using that square root value, I'm going to get the square root of 40, okay? So for my actual side length of my entire base now, I'm going to multiply that square root of 40 by 2. So 2 square roots of 40, okay? And now I have everything I need for my surface area formula, so I'm going to plug that all in. I'll do that here in orange. Start with your 1/2 times your perimeter of your base. So we have 4 sides to our square, so 4 times that 2 root 40 we found. We're going to multiply that by our slant height, which is 11. And then we're going to add the area of our base. So we're going to take that 2 root 40, and I'm just going to square it, okay? And again, once we enter all of that in our calculator and simplify it, we are going to get just about 438.3 inches squared. Okay. So please let me know if you have any questions with those kinds of problems, but go ahead and do number 3 on your own and then check your work with the key. And then next, moving on down here, we have our lateral and surface area of a cone. So I'm going to go ahead and actually have you guys try to do that on your own, since it's very similar to the pyramid. The only difference is our base is a circle, okay? And same idea with your surface area. Just go ahead and use those formulas. You may have to use Pythag for a couple of these. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe only one. No, 2, 3. You'll use it for 3. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. But go ahead and try those ones on your own and then check your answers with the key. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions.